I like actors with a sort of very professional but easygoing attitude, where nothing's too much of a problem in terms of what the director and the producer and the filmmakers are trying to achieve in the room. I don't really like over-familiarity. It's a balance between being relaxed and believing in yourself, but also being friendly and open and warm with the people that you're meeting. It's kind of like a sort of celebration, isn't it? Because the production's got this far, it's green lit, it's finally happening. The directors and the writers are seeing their work come to life, and so much is discovered in the casting process. So it's keeping it light and, you know, trying to control the ego. I don't like people who are, you know, too sycophantic and, you know, beggy and sort of like, I've got to get this. This is, you know, when will I hear? It's like you need to leave the room with your dignity, and you'll hear if you hear. And it's about kind of letting go of all of that as well, letting go of the emotion, the fear, the absolute sort of horrendous fear and, you know, really wanting something, and whether you really did that moment justice in the moment. It's all horrendous, but you've got to let it go. You can't bring it on into your life, you know. I'm a firm believer. I think there's a lot of this sort of positive mindset, attitude stuff that's going on in spirituality, and, you know, a lot of teachings and acting teachings. It's all about being positive. And I think it works for actors who have a positive outlook, and they're feeling positive within themselves, and they're looking after themselves. The other thing that I like about actors in the room is a great actor is sort of 10 steps ahead of the game subconsciously with their choices, and they know how to get to those choices in a nanosecond. They have the confidence in themselves to use them and paint that canvas in the room. It's sort of like effortless. In this day and age, it's just not acceptable. You know, there's no reason for it. On the day, yes, potentially, but the rules are, when you put out a breakdown, you say that nudity is required. But in the casting situation, it's not necessary. Maybe you could wear something which gives people an idea of your physicality, but yeah, it's quite common for it to happen, but you just need to warn the artist. I've had this analogy, and I don't know whether it really makes that much sense, but, you know, when you go to a wedding and, you know, it's all quite moving and joyous when you go to the ceremony, whatever the ceremony is, and then you get put on a table and there's, you know, your little name on a place. It's like, who am I going to get? You know, who am I going to be sat beside? And it's kind of like, it's quite interesting because you get to meet people and you get to see how they know the bride and groom, and so it's like it's not a test really, kind of thing. So if you can think that you're actually in that situation where you're meeting people at a celebration for the first time, because it is a celebration of forms. It's an artistic celebration, and it's a positive thing. And all these filmmakers care about is making their bloody film, making the best version of it. So add to it, add to the equation, be positive about it, be happy that you're there. It's not the end of the world. It's actually a really good opportunity to see people and solve a problem, and for us to see your art and see what you're capable of. And even if it doesn't go any further, I've brought in so many actors again for bigger roles, for better opportunities, when I've seen them handle castings with dignity and professionalism and positivity, and when they've put the work in, and even like sometimes where it's been an unpleasant experience, or they didn't get a certain part, or they were maltreated in the room, I've brought them back for another opportunity because I know that they're good, and I want to reward them with that, and producers and directors, more importantly, do that. It's time to really push the boundaries in terms of not just looking at Caucasian males for every possible thing. Trying to change the gender of characters and trying to be as diverse as possible. Self-taping helps with all of those things, where you can explore other avenues, and you can give lesser-known actors or actors that you've never met before, or agents pitching you actors. It's quite common for an agent to actually offer that now, even at the very highest level. If I'm not totally sure about an idea that's pitched to me, you often get offered a self-tape. In some ways it's fantastic. I think the most important thing for actors to remember is that the link actually works, that it's on it's uploaded onto a link that we can download easily. There's a long list of different types, but usually it's kind of Vimeo. But if you use YouTube, it needs to be coded, because a lot of the stuff that we're casting is top secret, and I've seen a lot of actors and actresses shoot themselves in the foot because they put it up publicly, and the network or the studio find out, and they're like, oh my god, take it down. So if you're going to do that, code it. But then there's the you send it files, which are very good. But it's okay to ask the casting director what format suits them best, basically. But usually we're uploading these auditions onto Cast It most of the time, or casting networks in the UK, and Spotlight, as you know, obviously have a service where you can upload all the auditions onto. But what annoys me sometimes with self-tapes is echoes in the room. You can shoot a very good self-tape in your bedroom because there's no echo, as long as there's a light background and there's plenty of light coming in, or it's okay to invest in a light these days, because it's your career and you don't have to necessarily spend big at places, private studios, to get it right. But yeah, self-taping has opened up the door quite a lot to look at other aspects and more versions of the character than you would traditionally have done. It's that age-old expression of comparison is the thief of joy when it comes to your opportunities and who's doing what as an actor. And I find that there's certain actors out there who I feel get a bit too bitter and twisted, and they carry that into a room when they do get an opportunity. And a lot of the time I'll see a very good actor, but they make the same choices, which they're not willing to shake off because it's an ego thing. It's like it's worked for them in the past, so why isn't it working now? Because I'm a successful actor. But I find people who carry anger and sadness, it gets in the way of their career, and it's easier said than done for me. But I think every opportunity is a new opportunity. I think that if I was an actor, I would be watching every single type of TV show, film, play. I'd be watching everything on Netflix, to a certain extent, because you have to hone in on what you want to do as an actor, what your identity is as an actor, what your strengths are as an actor. And like I'm saying, it's forms of acting, it's forms of directing, forms of filmmaking are forever evolving and amalgamating. So the more performances you watch, not just the stars, the A-list actors, the actors who are actually succeeding and are in the strong material that you want to be a part of. What choices are they making? What choices can you make that would be original? And bringing that into a room when you get those opportunities. Because it always surprises me how little certain actors know about other actors, not knowing their names, not knowing who the directors are, not knowing who's making what.